Hi, everybody. You might be approaching the end of your financial year, and it's the perfect time to get your Sage 50 accounts in order. The year end process itself is simple. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned pro or if it's your first time, it's just a few steps in the wizard. But before you dive in, there are some important checks and housekeeping tasks that will just make everything run smoothly. Things like archiving your company data just keeps it organized and improves performance. We'll show you how to create an archive and why it's a good habit. Then there's backing up your data, which is essential before making any changes, and we'll share best practice just to ensure your backups are reliable. And avoid accidental postings into a closed period by setting a lock date. It's quick to do and it saves headaches later. We'll also guide you through the year end wizard as well, step by step, so you can complete the process with confidence. If you need to tidy up old or unused records, we'll show you how to do that as well in our Delete Your Records webinar. And then we'll also cover how to clear the audit trail. It can help speed things up, and we'll explain when it's appropriate and how to do that safely. So to help you to prepare, we're hosting a series of live webinars throughout January and February. These sessions will give you practical tips and demonstrations so you feel confident about your year end and keep your accounts in great shape. Don't miss this opportunity to start the new year with clean, organised data and peace of mind. Make sure you reserve your spot today at sage.co.uk/webinars, and we look forward to seeing you there.
Hi everyone, it's that time again when you might be starting to think about your year end. The year end process itself is straightforward. It's a simple wizard that includes a few options. However, before this, there's the preparation stage, ensuring you've posted everything, and of course, it involves running reports. But do you understand your reports and also the opportunities that you have to develop them? Ensuring they're accurate, but also that they provide you with a correct level of detail. Throughout January and February, we're running a series of live webinars to help develop your knowledge and understanding of the management reports available in Sage 50 accounts. We'll be starting with the basics, understanding nominal records and the structure of the nominal ledger. This is also ideal if you need to create new nominal codes. Following on from this, we'll examine the chart of accounts, looking at all aspects, including adding new layouts and editing existing ones. Our attention then turns to the management reports themselves, the trial balance, the profit and loss, and of course the balance sheet. We'll explain how to run them, what they show, and most importantly, how the figures calculate. We want you to be confident. On the management report session, one of the most common scenarios we're asked about is where you haven't yet run your year end, but need to generate a profit and loss report for your next financial year. We've got your back with this and have a specific webinar that explores the options you have available, whether it's running reports for your new financial year or even a previous one. The last webinar in the series looks at reconciling your age debtors and age creditor reports at year end, ensuring that the balances agree with the figures on your trial balance and the balance sheet. Of course, this could be done at any time, such as part of your month-end process. So come along and we'll demonstrate what to check and how to run them to ensure everything agrees. If you'd like to attend any or all of these sessions to help develop your knowledge and boost your confidence, then simply head along to sage.co.uk/webinars and register for your free place. These, along with loads of other topics, including how to run your year end, are available. See you soon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michael. I'm going to be your host for this afternoon session. So looking at getting started with Copilot in Sage 50 accounts today. Got it booked in for about an hour, and that will just depend on how many questions we get along the way. We will be able to pick up those questions. I say we, it's just myself running the session with you today. So do bear with me when you submit questions, but keep them coming during the session. Do engage with me. If you're not sure about something or you don't quite get it, let me know. Right, so we'll start with just that little bit of housekeeping just before we get stuck into the webinar and the demos themselves. So you don't need a microphone for these sessions. If you do have one and you've enabled it, you'll find you're muted automatically. Your screen might look a little bit different to what I'm showing on the screen today. I'm using a, well, looks at my end like we're using a slightly more up-to-date version of the webinar software. So if you've joined via your browser, it may be a little bit different how you access things like your microphone symbol and the questions panel. Now you can submit questions during the session. You just need to choose the appropriate option. If you've got the interface where you've got the toolbar down the side, then if you just click the little speech bubble icon, it'll expand the panel. You'll get access to the box where you can start typing. Remember to click send, otherwise I won't see those. If you've joined via your browser, I think the questions icon is on a toolbar along towards the top of your screen. I think it's towards the right-hand side. Now, during the session, there is an option to download the handout as well. So basically a copy of the slides that I'm using today. Quite a bit to get through, quite a bit to tell you. So if you do want to copy those, do take that opportunity. There is loads of information, of course, in our help center. So if you do want that, I'll show you where you can access that as well once we get started. Now, as normal, the session is being recorded. A link to the recording will be included on your follow-up email, which we tend to send out. It gets sent automatically, but gets sent round about an hour after we finish. So if you do need a bit of a recap or you miss any of it, then just watch out for that. That will also include a link to our webinar registration page. So if you want to attend any other topics, our timetable as of yesterday morning, I think it was, now runs up to the end of March, and that includes our next digital badge series, which will be looking at the invoicing area of the software. So if you are interested in earning your next digital badge, get yourself signed up for those as well. As well as a range of other topics as well. Loads and loads of topics that you can potentially attend throughout March. You'll also receive a link on that email to our recordings page. So if you have missed any sessions, or maybe it's just not convenient to attend those sessions, then again, you can use the recordings. Well over 100 topics on there now. Right, let's have a look at what we're going to be covering in this session today though. So as I say, quite a bit to get through in today's session. So we're going to start with a little bit of background to Sage Copilot, what it is, who can actually access that. I'll show you how you go about activating it within your software as well, so how you can actually get started. But then we're going to run through the key features, the key benefits of Copilot. So looking at the Copilot insights, we're going to touch on Report with Copilot, detailed analysis, and the latest addition to Copilot, which is payment reminders. So we'll run through that one as well. We'll then touch on what's next. So it give you an idea of maybe what you could expect or how you can get involved, how you can shape the future of Copilot a little bit. So loads of opportunities, not just for Copilot for that matter, but loads of opportunities just about throughout. So any changes you want to see to your software, how you can submit those requests and those ideas, and how you can vote on what other people have asked for as well. So how you can engage with us and hopefully shape the software going forward. Right, just bear me one moment. So, right, sorry about that. Just at the end there, we're going to explain more about the additional support, and then if there are any outstanding questions at all, I'll try and pick those up as well. You might need to bear with me for questions. As I say, I'm by myself today, but if I can't answer your question, or maybe I need to check that, normally I'll just go away and find an answer to that. Make sure I'm giving you the right information, or if it's something going forward, maybe that we need to find out for you, I can contact our development team as well and see if that's see if that's on the horizon at all. So anyway, keep your questions coming. We'll try our best to pick those up. So let's start with a little bit of background first of all. And first of all, accessing Sage Copilot. So who actually has access to Sage Copilot? Now, Copilot was first introduced in version 31.1. Now, if you're not sure about your version, you just need to go to within your software, you just go to Help and then About. You'll have your version number, top left corner. So it should display that. It should begin 31.1 or possibly higher. So we're up to version 33 now. So you need to be on Sage 50 Accounts version 31.1 or above. Obviously, if you are on version 33, you'll get all of the features that I'm talking about today. You need to be using either the standard level of the software or professional. So it's not available currently if you are on Essentials or the Client Manager level of the software. It is going to change soon for Client Manager. So if you're an accountant and you're using Client Manager Edition, then potentially it will be added to your license so that you can access it as well. It's one of the bits of feedback I've had multiple times on that one. Well, you know, how can I sort of explain the benefits to my clients if I can't access it myself? I can't show them. So yeah, watch this space. That should be quite soon. And the final criteria, you must be based in the UK. So if you're in Ireland, which is why we mention on the registration page, we say UK only. So if you're in Ireland, you don't have access to Copilot as of yet. Now we always get asked on the back of that, well, when will it be available in Ireland? I don't have an answer to that one, I'm afraid. I don't know whether that will be soon, and if it is soon, when, or a bit more longer term. I don't know that at the moment. Now, currently, your subscription will include a single user license. Now, you can choose who has access to that license, but it is single user license by default. Additional licenses can be added. They are chargeable currently, but going forward, it's in the pipeline where every user within Sage 50 potentially will be given what we term a Copilot license, so they'll be able to activate that. But currently, single user license. So if you are going to have a go, it's Manager that would enable Copilot, and by default the license, the Copilot option, would be assigned to that user. You can change that if required, though. Just do that within the access rights area. Right, now as far as finding out more about Copilot, there is loads of information on our Help Center to help you get up and running. You'll find the introduction to Copilot, information about setting up, using it, logging in, using your Sage account, etc. You can find all of that on our Help Center. To get to the Help Center, you just head along to sage.co.uk/help. Now, what I'm going to do at this stage, I'm going to show you how to activate it. Now, you've got a couple of options. I'm just going to quickly share my screen. I'll switch across to my screen, my desktop, sorry. Let's quickly share that. So I'm on version 33 in this particular instance, and it tells me here that Copilot is already active. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to close out of Sage. Ignore all the shortcuts on my desktop. And we're going to go back into it, and it will vary depending on what version you're using as to what the Copilot activation sort of looks like and how you would access that. But let's say we're on version 33. Now, one of the things with version 33, just give that a moment to open. And I'm going to go into this company, which I don't have Copilot active on just yet. So I'll just open that one. Now, if you're not using any connected services yet, so connected services, I'm talking about things like remote data access, bank feeds, what else? Sage Connect. There's quite a few of them these days. I couldn't think of any of them off the top of my head hardly there. So if you're not using any connected services at all just yet, then you will just get the standard log on. asking for a username and password. If you do add a connected service, so the likes of activating Copilot, etc., what that's meant in the past is that it initiates what you term two-factor authentications, where you're going to need to essentially log in with an email address and a password, and you might need to use an authenticator app for to gain access to your software. So it may ask you to authenticate now and again. So a bit like if you were accessing you're trying to access your bank or anything else that is quite secure, it'll prompt you for quite often these days a 6-digit code. So similar sort of theme when Copilot's active. I'll quickly pick up a few of the questions before I continue there. Petula, you mentioned there, is MTD HMRC a connected service? No, it's not. It's not classed as a connected service, that one. Petula, you also mentioned, can you switch on by company for different users? Potentially, yeah. So what I've done there is I've just switched into my company where Copilot isn't active. So it's something per company, as it were, on Sage, and you would enable you to select one user per company. And again, just you mentioned you have 6 users. Got lots of questions there. You mentioned you have 6 users accessing the data. So currently, you would be provided with one user license for Copilot. So that would be one user within each company that potentially could have access to Copilot. So it would need to be assigned to their username as well. Right, now because of some people's reluctance to switch on Copilot, what we've introduced in version 33, and you need to be on version 33 for this one, when you log in, if you haven't yet used Copilot, you will be prompted with the option to give it a try, basically. So you can try Copilot, you can just give it a click, and it means that it doesn't interfere with anyone else's logon. Whereas if you fully activate it and you haven't used any connected service yet, then you need to go down the 2FA route where everyone needs to start logging in with email addresses, etc. So it just adds that, because it's a connected service, just adds that extra level of security to your software. So you will be prompted with that one, and it means you can have full access to Copilot while you are, without fully activating. It means you can have a go of it and see what it can actually do for you. Now I'm just going to close out of that for the time being. Now to actually activate Copilot, so it'll just let me go into it. Now it's going to be a little bit different depending on what sort of position you're in as well. If you have a Sage account attached to your manager logon, so essentially you've linked it, then it's really easy to activate Copilot. If you haven't yet done that, but you've got an account, again, easy enough to do. You would just go into settings, user management, users. Give that a moment to load. And you can see I've got one here, but if you don't, then it's just a case of you'll be able to edit your user and you'll get an option to start using your Sage account. It will just guide you through that process. If you do that anyway, if you haven't already got an account linked, then it will just guide you through that process to set one up and get that link to your manager logon. Now, once you've got that linked, I've got the link at the top, activate Sage Copilot. I can also go into the likes of customers. I've got Sage Copilot here. Because it's not active yet, I'm going to get this window pop up. You might get it looks a little bit different on the slightly older versions. But again, it'll just guide you through that process. So activating Sage Copilot, just click the link. Now, if you've got any other users that haven't yet got a Sage account email address, you'll need to pop them in there. It'll just fire out the relevant information to them as well to create that. Other than that, you continue. Just going to click continue again. And then finally activate Sage Copilot. So it's a self-guided wizard there. Just follow it through, and it's going to activate Sage Copilot for you. Really quick to do as well. So it's not like you have to then wait for it to be activated or anything of that nature. It'll just go through that wizard. I guarantee it'll go really slow because I'm presenting today. Oh, there we go, right on cue. I just click close and that's it done. So that's Copilot set up for me. So it starts giving me the options down the right hand side, etc. Right, just going to close out of that for the time being. I'm going to pop back to the slides and we'll give you a little bit more information before we start running through some demos of what Copilot can actually do. Find the right button, first of all. There we go. Right, so Copilot, bit of AI, and I think when people hear AI, they think, oh, it's going to take over. It's not. So you can pick and choose what it does. So, but think of sort of Copilot. We always describe it as your AI assistant. So it's going to provide you with sort of the top level information. Now, I say top level information. You can always drill down onto the nuts and bolts of that information if you want to. So generally, you can go from top level, this is my total sales figure, all the way down to these other transactions. But it's available, or insights are available in the following ledgers. So I've got them listed there. So customers, suppliers, products and services, nominal codes, and also transactions. Now, again, depending on the version of the software you're on, because it did change on version 32.1. If you're on 32.1 or version 33, on your toolbars in these ledgers, you will have an icon called Sage Copilot. Earlier versions, it will just say Copilot Insights, but they do the same thing. We're going to run through some of that information in a moment. The kind of areas it's going to support you with are things like debt management, helping you to manage your stock, so inventory management, monitoring business performance, anomaly detection, so trying to spot those sort of processing errors. And also, as you'd expect, a lot of reporting information in amongst that as well. So what I'm going to do, before I go into a quick demo, I've got a video prepped for you as well today. I'm going to quickly run through the various ledgers and the types of information it shows in those insights within the ledger. So when you access, say, customers, and on your toolbar, you'll have Sage Copilot or Copilot Insights, again, depending on your version. You'll have a panel pop up down the right-hand side. Now, this has recently changed in version 33 as well, so you've got a slightly different layout, but you'll be able to see that in the demo in just a moment. Now, this gives you easy access to a summary of your overdue invoices, and also so you can stay ahead a little bit, those due within the next 7 days. So it means you can be a bit more proactive in that position as well, not just, this is now overdue, you need to chase it. You'll be able to drill down all the way down to individual invoices and view that transaction information if needed. You can send statements and also add reminders. And as we'll see a little bit later on, if you are on version 33, you'll also have access to the payment reminders functionality, which is a great option. It's the first sort of automated option that's being brought into Sage Copilot. You have a similar panel, so these insights provide you with similar sort of panels in each of the ledgers. Inventory management, as you'd expect, that one's available within products and services. It will summarize your stock levels, so we're highlighting how many items are out of stock, low on stock, or items that are likely to be out of stock soon. When you first start using this, you probably find you're in a bit more of a reactive position. It's highlighting those that are out of stock, as opposed to if you use it regularly, you can get ahead of the game a little bit, identifying those items that are likely to be out of stock soon, so you can plan for that and take action. Now, if you do use the professional level of the software, this area where it identifies areas where you're low on stock or likely to be out of stock soon, it will seamlessly integrate with the purchase orders ledger. Otherwise, you'd be printing your list, exporting it to Excel so that you've got that list of what you're looking for. Business performance, got too far there. So business performance, obviously a key bit of information there. Available within nominal codes, customers, suppliers. You can view profit on a monthly basis, comparing it to the previous month, year-on-year comparisons as well, so you can hopefully spot trends when you're looking at that as well. But again, you'll be able to drill down on this information. So, you can view a sales breakdown, you can view an expenditure breakdown. Now, my favorite one, and this always goes down really well whenever we've done anything historically in Sage to try and help you avoid mistakes, whether that's making corrections easier to post or amending the VAT return wizard to try and find those or what we term the verification settings in there. We've introduced over the years things like options when you're entering batch transactions to avoid duplicates. So anything like that, is normally received really well. And this is no different. Had loads of really good feedback about this one. So anomaly detection, it's available within the transactions area. And what it will do, it will highlight unusual activity based on your historic information. So the more information you've got in there, the more accurate it's going to be. If you've just really started on the Sage, then probably at first everything's going to be a bit unusual. So it'll probably pick up quite a bit. But the idea with this is, based on your historic information, it's going to look for transactions which use an unusual nominal code or tax code. Maybe a transaction has an unexpected amount, unexpected VAT amount. So it'll try and identify these for you. Nice easy options, gives you buttons to click. Just click on the appropriate, it'll give you a list of the appropriate transactions. And then you could say, you can review the transaction there and then, you can correct it there and then, or you can just say, right, actually, I'm going to ignore this one. It may just be a one-off. And then the final one to quickly mention is reporting analysis. Now, primarily this is available within nominal codes, but I suppose reporting, it's available just about throughout the software. But the one within nominal codes, it enables you to view key profit and loss information. Again, you'll be able to drill down on that one, do your year-on-year comparisons, etc. Now, we do have an extra detailed analysis bit in there now, which I'm going to come on to a little bit later on in the session. Now, what I'm going to do at this stage, just so you can see it working, I'm going to play a little video for you. And the video I've chosen for today's session is, make sure I've got the right one uploaded. It is anomaly detection. So I'll set that going. It'll mute me for the time being, but it is my voice on the video. So I'll come back to you live in a couple of minutes.
The Copilot Insight for anomaly detection is all about helping you to improve and maintain the accuracy of your data. We all know it's easy to make a mistake, such as specifying the wrong tax code for a transaction, so anything that helps has got to be positive. The Insight helps to identify potential issues, and to keep things simple and streamlined, enables you to easily edit the transaction and make corrections there and then. The Copilot Insight is accessed from the transactions ledger. Insights are grouped into nominal codes, tax codes, and amounts. Check tax codes shows the number of transactions where the tax codes are different to the usual ones that have been used on the account in the past. Clicking transactions with unexpected tax codes lists the relevant transactions. If you're working in a specific period, you can easily narrow down the date range by applying a filter rather than working on the default group covering the last 12 months. You can even apply a filter so only specific transaction types appear. You can search within the results and also have the flexibility of exporting the list, for example, if you prefer working in Excel. Each transaction shows the current details and the suggested correction. For added flexibility and speed, you can then action changes there and then. Edit brings up the familiar Edit Transaction window, so if required, you can make the correction there and then. If you've already corrected it outside of the Copilot Insight, simply flag it. Then finally, when a correction isn't required, for example, you've posted a transaction which is a one-off and it's picked up as an anomaly, you can flag to ignore it. As transactions are flagged, they'll be moved to the appropriate tab. If you're a bit too quick and accidentally ignore a transaction, then don't worry, this can easily be undone. The main list can also easily be refreshed at any time, meaning it can quickly ensure you're up to date if other users are currently processing before you close out.
Right, okay, I'm back live with you. Let me just quickly share the right screen there. It's a little bit slower, the interface that we use now. So Copilot Insights. So that's what you would have if you were on version 31.1, what we just ran through there. What we're going to look at next is what's been added through the various updates. And we're going to start with version 32. Now, version 32 introduced Report with Copilot. Again, just to try to enhance what people have been asked for. So as you probably imagine, people expect, oh, I thought Copilot would be able to design reports for me. Maybe what you're expecting, it can now. So in version 32, Report with Copilot was introduced. And I mean, you can access this from any sort of ledger within your software that has a reporting option. And it enables you to create customized transaction-based reports. So probably one of the most common reporting queries that we receive or our support line receives is, I want a list of invoices in that particular month, or I want a list of transactions. Got an example there, all transactions from this year not using a T1 tax code. Now, some of those you might find it's an existing report. Sometimes it might be a case of, right, well, actually you can just go into the transactions list and send that information to Excel and start applying filters, etc. But Copilot can potentially do that for you now. So it avoids having to go into the report designer, which is a really powerful tool, really powerful part of Sage 50, which gives us its flexibility and its power. But it can be quite complicated. So you've now got Report with Copilot. Now, Report with Copilot, I'll show you an example of this in just a moment. It's all based around your transactions list. So the transactions ledger within your software. So enabling you to ask for specific transaction types. Maybe you want them grouped together. And it's just a case of accessing that and typing in a message. What is it you're after? So I'll quickly share my screen and we'll see if we can run through a quick demo of this one. See if I can share the right screen this time, might help. There we go. So I'm in version 33. This is my company where I've already got Copilot activated. So if I just went into customers as an example, I'll pop into reports. And within reports, you've got my standard folders and I can browse for reports and I can search for reports. But let's say it's a specific one I'm after and I can't find that. So I can go into Sage Copilot on the toolbar at the top. Again, if you're on a slightly older version, it may be called Report with Copilot. Just to change that name on version 33. And it brings up this panel. So what I'll do is I'm just going to copy that bit of text, save me typing it in. And I'm just going to pop that and I'll paste it into the message box. So let's say I was that quick at typing. which is not the case, but it'll go away in process. And if it can't quite find what I'm after, or thinks actually might want to narrow it down a bit, comes back with a couple of questions. Let's see if it can understand my typo as well. So we'll just let that run through. Sometimes a little bit temperamental when I'm presenting webinars as well. I should always come up with a nice simple example, shouldn't I? Let's say group by month. The more you use this as well, the more likely you are to just find what you're after. Oh, here we go. So we'll just let it process. We'll get to the point. See if I can copy that. Can't remember what it lets me copy that or not. It doesn't. Oh, it does. So I'll just do that. See if I can get to the point where let me confirm. And then I should just be able to type confirm. So it's got enough information now to start generating that report for me. Means that I don't need to use the report designer either to do this. So I'll pop a name in for the reports. I always use today's date just so I try and identify it, because we obviously run these webinars quite often. Just preview the reports. So what it essentially does is it designs the report for me. So let's just maximize it. I'll zoom in on that a bit as well. So yeah, you could have gone through and you could have potentially designed this in Report Designer, but Report Designer, if you'd never touched it before, it look very complicated to generate these types of reports. So it's designed that report for me. It's created it. It saves it as a standard Sage report. So if I just close out of that as an example, what it does, it saves it as a report. Now, you might be aware, or you might not be, if you've designed your own reports before, that when you design a customer report and you save it, or you edit one and do a save as, it'll save it in the My Customer Reports area. Now, these reports are based on the transactions ledger. So if I just go into transactions and into reports, and I'll have the My Transaction Reports folder. So in here, we can look for the one that we've just designed. So it is the 12th today. 2 days to get your Valentine cards in, just in case anyone forgot. So there it is there. And if I needed to, if I am familiar with report design, I can always highlight that and I can click edit, start making changes to it. Or I could just go back to Copilot and start again, find whatever else I'm after. Now, when this was first released, when it was first made available in Copilot, the report with Copilot function, it didn't do any grouping. So that's something that was brought in 32.1, the ability to group by customer or by transaction type. But I would say, give it a go. Have a try of it. If you're already using Copilot, or if you're using the pilot, where you get the trial, have a try of that as well. Right, let's go back to my slides. up on the next feature. So again, another good enhancement to the nominal codes area is the detailed analysis option. Now this enables you to analyze how your business is performing. So it's not just a standard sort of profit and loss report or a balance sheet report. The idea of this is it will surface key information from your profit and loss balance sheet. It'll analyze that for you, and it will provide that key information in what I would term more of a commentary style analysis. So I'm going to show you that one. I'll go back to my desktop. And I'll quickly show you how this one works. So we're going to pop into nominal codes and into Sage Copilot, so the insight on your toolbar. And what we had previously, when I was showing this earlier, the original insight, you would have just had this top section. So you need, if you're on 32.1, you'll have this bottom section as well, the detailed analysis. We'll pick on the profit and loss. Choose when you want to run that up to. Obviously, that's based around your financial year, whatever you've got that sets you in the software. So let me just do it. So I'll do it for the full financial year on that one. Confirm that. So that's going to go extract the data. It'll analyze it for me. And then it should provide the insights. So this is more, as I say, this is more the, rather than a report with like a traditional P&L with your figures on there, this is more of a, what I would term a commentary style analysis. So it's showing you your strengths. In this case, on my dummy data, it's in high return on sales. Gives a bit of commentary around that as well. So it does a bit of analysis based around that, even weaknesses. It's going to highlight that as well. Conclusion. Ooh, my dummy data has got, it exhibits strong financial health with impressive profitability metrics. So again, highlighting key strengths and weaknesses based around my accounts. Again, have a go of that one if you haven't already. Right, now moving on. I'm going to go back to the slides one more time. Now the second bullet point on my slide there, I've just mentioned, report with Copilot, the ability to group by the likes of customer and also to add subtotals as well. Originally, it was just a list of transactions, but probably the biggest bit of feedback we got on that was, well, I want all the customers split up. So I want to see all the invoices for that customer. I want subtotals. So that was added in 32.1. But probably the biggest change was payment reminder automation. Now, this can be automated, or you can just do it manually. Whichever, it makes it very easy to send out email reminders. We're going to run through a demonstration to show you this now. So we'll go back to my screen. We'll run through a quick demo. Right, you'll see my desktop. So we're going to pop into customers, Sage Copilot. And this is the information that the insight shows from 32.1 and above. So you've got your sort of your month-on-month comparisons, year-on-year comparisons. You can click on the options to drill down. We'll come back to debt summary in a moment. You can gain access to your sales ledger turnover. It's a standard report anyway, but it surfaces that so you can quickly get at it. But this is the new area, the latest edition, so debt management. Now, when we click into debt management, and you may have had similar options to this when you've come into the likes of, if you use bank feeds, you'll get these pop-up windows coming up with telling you a little bit about it. Always think after a while, it feels a little bit disjointed. So you do have that option just to say, I don't want to see this again. So you can just hide that message. But I'm going to continue. It takes me into this screen. Now in here, we've got key information along the top. So a total that's overdue, total upcoming in the next 31 days. It'll tell me when that information was last updated. Obviously, if I'm working in here throughout the day, you might think, well, actually, I'll just refresh it. It'll reread the information. Does anything else need to be pulled through? It splits the information, so the outstanding debts, it'll split that into two tabs, overdue and upcoming. So we can see, not necessarily, we're not just always in that reactive phase. We might want to think, well, actually be a bit more proactive. We can see these are the invoices that are going to be due in the next 7 days. So it lists them. We've got drill down options as well, so we can get into the information if we need to. We can get into the customer account. Now it is very quick as well. So if I just close out of that for the time being, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into invoices and credits, and I'm just going to pop on a brand new invoice. So it doesn't really matter what it is. Just I'll pick this customer A1 design. I'm going to say it's due, or I'm going to change the date. Put that back a little bit. We'll put it the 1st of the month, and we're going to say it is due on. I want it so it picks it up in the next few days. So it's the 12th today. So let's say it's due on the 16th, this one. And we'll just quickly pop an item on there. Doesn't really matter what it is. We'll just choose that one. And I'm going to save it. Right, now if you're looking at debt management, you're thinking, well, it's not pulling my invoices through and I've just entered one. That's fine. It needs to be updated to the ledgers. So debt management isn't looking at this list, it's looking at the transactions against your customer records. So it needs to be updated. So we'll pick on this one, we'll just quickly update it to the ledgers. We've got it flagged, so it's due early next week. Just close out of that one. And if we go back to customers, into Sage Copilot, I just want to make sure I've put that on right. Let me just double check. I'll just close out of that a second before we get into it. Oh, I've just closed it. Great. All right, let me just quickly open that. Getting click happy there. Just runs that a little bit slow when I demonstrate on the webinars. So I'll just quickly get back into it. Now, I mentioned earlier as well about once you enable connected services these days, is essentially it activates 2FA or two-factor authentication. So rather than log on into your software with a standard username and password, you will be prompted then to revert to an email address and password. If I type that in wrong. I must have. Taking its time today. Right. So anyway, we're back in. So let's just get rid of a few messages. Pop into customers. And that invoice has now been included in that balance. It's invoice number 90. So if we go into the customer's account, have a look at the activity, you should see that invoice 90 is included. So it's on the activity there. It's been updated to the ledgers. And we can see invoice date was the 1st of Feb. Due date is the 16th, so that's going to be due in 4 days' time. Right, let's pop into Copilot, access the insights. Into debt management. And as you'll see on the upcoming, we've now got invoice number 90 listed. So I can see all the detail of that. I can get to the transaction, I can click the link, I can view the information. I can get into the customer's account from here. Just clicking the link, nice and easy. It's got some details in there as well, telling me this is due in 4 days. Got a bit of detail on there, amount outstanding. Chase history, if I click the view option, it says no history available. I've not done anything with that just yet. But against this entry, now this is when we can do it manually. So I click actions, it'll ask us, right, well, for this one, what do you want to do? Do I want to compose an email reminder? Do I want to generate a statement? Do I want to just get it to remind me later? So latest enhancement is the reminder email. So we'll choose that option. Now, a couple of things to quickly mention. For the manual method of sending out reminders, it will use essentially your local email settings. That's fine. So if you've got Outlook installed, which the vast majority of our users do, and I must mention as well, with regard to Outlook, if you are integrating with Outlook, it doesn't work with what's termed new Outlook. You need to be on Classic. So normally for Outlook, you get that little slider in the top right-hand corner. So if you're trying this and you think it's not working, make sure the slider is across to the left where it's set to Classic. It doesn't work with what we term new Outlook just yet. Anyway, it generates this reminder email option. So it's already completed for me. Now I can amend that, but by default, it's going to use the email address from email address field 1 within the customer's record. It's got a subject line. It's got an email address which is going to be generated for me. It'll attach a copy of the invoice to the email for me as well. I can amend this if I want to. So I can click into the subject line. I can remove information. I can add information, get it exactly how I want. Same for the email body itself. You can choose it as well. You can change it. So we're on the due reminder. I can say, right, well, actually, I wanted a longer email or a shorter, or even just the medium, which is defaults to. And then you can say, right, draft that for me. So it'll draft an email, whatever it comes back with, you can still then change it if required. I'm just going to accept it as is. You can insert additional fields into the email or the subject lines. So you've got various options you can add in to tailor it how you want it. But other than that, I've opened that screen. Let's say I'm just happy with all of that. I can just click send. Tells me it's been successfully sent. Just okay that. And we now see in the chase status, the due reminder. So we can see that has now been sent. And on the chase history, you've got the date and time of when the due reminder was sent. Now I've actually got mine configured to work with Gmail. So if I just open up Gmail, see if I can access that, just working on my other screen. So we'll just bring that up. Just go to Google. We access Gmail. And if I go into my sent items, we've got it here. So that's the email that's been generated for me. It's sent it automatically as well. Now, if you're using Outlook, you may be aware that with Outlook in the past, and you can still do this, but with Outlook, you get that choice. Do you want to save that as a draft, or do you want it send it automatically? What I've done is, because it's Gmail, I've configured that with the usual SMTP settings, and it sends it automatically anyway for me. So as soon as I output the email, it's integrated with Gmail, off it goes. Now there's loads of information in our help center about integrating with whichever webmail software you use. So if you get a little bit stuck, have a look in there. Now that's sending it manually. Nice and easy. Just select it, choose your action, and compose the reminder email, off it goes. However, I suppose the big time saver, let's continue back in, is this manage automated reminders. Now you've got this manage layouts option. Now just quickly click that so you can see what it shows in there. So here is your invoice layout. So you can specify your own if you've designed your own, or it's just a standard one. You can browse normal sort of list, choose whichever one you're after, and it will use that. Similar for your customer statements, just in case you're browsing for that, choosing which one you want to use so that when you do use the automated email options, it will use the appropriate layout for you. Now, the manage automated reminders, when we go into that, now, if you haven't already configured your email settings, it will guide you through that. And again, if you haven't configured your layouts, it would ask you which ones do you want to use. Other than that, it's going to display the screen for you. And this is where you can set your scheduling settings. So rather than me come into debt management and say, right, I want to send out an automated, or I want to send out an email reminder because this one is due in the next so many days. What we can do is we can come in and we say, right, we want to send this on schedule. Now, by default, it's 7 days before the due date, but we can customize that. We can say, right, well, got the same email settings, picks up the email address, got a subject line, email body, but then you've got some scheduling options. So we can say, right, rather than 7 days, we might send it, right, I want to send it, let's say 3 days beforehand, just as a reminder that they need to pay us within the next few days. You can set like a value criteria as well. So you might not want to, you might think, well, actually, if it's anything less than a certain amount, I'm not going to chase customers. By default, it's going to chase everything that's outstanding for you. And once it sends it, you can say, right, well, actually, once you send the email, what I want you to do is I want you to change the status on the account. If you've never come across the account status option before, again, forms part of that credit control tab within each customer account. A similar one for suppliers as well. And you can choose what it is. I'll just leave it open. I can say, right, just do nothing. Whatever it's set to, I want it to remain as that. Now I would just save and close that. And I would leave that switched on. And you've got other options in there as well. So similar options for when items become overdue. So you've got 4 options, a bit like if you've ever used the letters option within Sage, but in the form of email. Obviously, the wording of it, the severity of the action that you want to take, for instance, it will change as you progress through that credit control cycle. But again, all of those can be customized, those emails. You can choose when they get sent. Obviously, it might depend on your credit terms. You might think, well, actually, as soon as it becomes overdue, I want to send one straight away. So rather than wait 7 days. So again, you can change that criteria. It's a case of you choosing which ones you want to send automatically, and obviously at what point you want to send it. So if sending out email reminders forms a big part of your role, or a substantial part of your role, which it takes time, then could you automate it and save all that time? So as soon as those emails, as soon as those invoices hit a certain point, it hits 3 days before due date, it will automatically generate that email and fire it out for you, automating that task. And same for the other 3 options in there as well. So you can choose to set that up, what you send, when you send it, and also if you want to, you can switch those options off, but it can be amended at any time. So far, feedback on that has been excellent. Some big time savers that I've heard of when people have used that. Now that just about brings us to the end of the demos. Got some questions there. I'll try and pick them up before we finish. But you've seen what's already there, but what about what's next? So how can you get involved? It's something I would encourage as well. Once you start using it, let us know. It's still quite a new feature, Copilot. I think it will continue to be developed very, very quickly. Some big changes gone in since the original, just those original insights were added. If you want to get involved, if you want to submit your feedback, within your software, you just go to the home page. So top of that navigation bar on the left, click home. Scroll down, you've got the roadmap area, bottom left. It will bring up this web page for you. And on here is an option to have your say. So this is where you can submit ideas, you can vote on those ideas that people have already submitted. So you can see what other people are asking for. So here's a nice simple one. I would like to be able to reorder columns within sales invoices and quotes, etc. Anything like that, anything that could make your life easier, just make it a bit, maybe make the software a bit more usable for you. Let us know. Get in, submit your ideas, and you can vote on them as well. No bad idea, only the one you keep to yourself. So I've included a link. If you have downloaded the slides, the handout, I've included a link on the slide on the what's next. If you think of any questions or if you want to quickly pop them in, I will open up to those in just a few moments. So we'll get them submitted across. If you think of anything after you've left as well, so leave the webinar and you think, oh, we should ask this, or maybe I didn't quite get that. So obviously you're going to get a copy of the recording that will be included on the follow-up email. There's loads of information in our help center, and of course our support team's on hand as well. If you prefer not to, you can just email me. So reply to any of the webinar emails. They will either be directed direct to myself or will come to my team's mailbox and be able to pick it up from there. So any of those webinar emails that you get, you can just click reply. Right, I'll open up to questions in just a moment. But if you're about to leave, let me thank you for coming along. Hope you've enjoyed it, giving you a bit of an insight to what Copilot's all about. Some interesting options in there. Will be developed very quickly going forward, I think. But let us know your thoughts as well. Use that where you can submit your ideas and your thoughts. Now, there will be a little survey that pops up as you leave the session. It's all about today's webinar. Is it what you expected? Let's help you use your software that bit more efficiently. Let us know your thoughts. If you've got any ideas about topics you'd like to see covered going forward, how we can improve the webinar service, all of that, pop it on there. Should take you about a minute max. Your follow-up email, which includes the link to today's recording, the registration page link, and also our recordings link, that will be with you in around about an hour's time. Now let's see what I've got. Apologies if I miss your questions. So Karen, you mentioned earlier, how much are additional licenses? I don't have the cost of that to hand. I think it will vary depending on the level of your software you're on. So just get in touch with our support team and they'll be able to advise you based on your subscription. Helen, you mentioned there, any plans to move Sage 50 from server-based to browser-based? Absolutely. It's the big news that anyone that runs across a network or uses remote data access, probably the big news that you've been waiting to hear. Early this year, we will be releasing Sage 50 cloud accounts, so fully cloud-based. So you'll be able to access that via your browser. So no, taking away the sort of the requirement for your PCs to meet a certain specification or anything like that. So basically, you should be able, because it's browser based, it's going to be basically any device, just about from anywhere, whenever. So as long as you've got internet access, you open your browser and you'll be able to log into your accounts. So that's on the horizon. So expecting first customers to be able to start using that I think it's towards the end of March. And then a little bit later on a couple of months after, I think, for general release. But watch this space. You'll hear lots about that. It'll be a big fanfare for that one, Helen. So watch this space. You mentioned it also, Helen, about earlier when you named the report. When I was using report with Copilot, do you need to save? Will it save the report to your favorites? It doesn't. It saves it to the transactions my transaction reports folder. So we'll do that by default. Petula, you mentioned there, will it produce forecasts based on historical performance? Not yet. But again, if that's something you'd really like to see, I would encourage you to get that added to the ideas board. And you also mentioned about the detailed analysis. So can you interrogate that further? No, the idea with that is it points you in the right direction. So there's no additional links provided on the detailed analysis. It would just give you that sort of that commentary style analysis. Again, I suppose almost like food for thought to point you in the right direction. Obviously, there's hundreds and hundreds of reports in Sage that you can then run. Right, just about on time. So we'll end the webinar just at that point. Once again, many thanks for coming along. I hope you did enjoy it. Do complete that survey. Watch out for your follow-up email. We've got loads of webinars all the way from now. Currently, you can book from now all the way up to the end of March. So do get yourself registered. Hopefully, I'll see you on some of those soon. And look out for that digital badge series as well, which we're running on invoicing starting in March. Many thanks. Hopefully, I'll see you on some webinars soon. Many thanks.